UFC heavyweight champion Jon Jones is uncertain about Tom Aspinall's chances in the co-main event at UFC 304 in Manchester. Remember this clip from yesterday's news?
A bit of a strange conundrum with my division. Usually, when the champ is coming back, the interim would obviously usually fight the champ. Jon Jones is holding shit up, let's be honest. He's playing games, so me and Curtis Blades though, we have history. You know, if I'm not going to fight Jon, which obviously that's not going to happen right now, this is the ideal situation. So very, very happy, very motivated for it. I'm going to put in absolutely everything into the training camp, absolutely everything into the lifestyle, and yeah, looking forward to it very much.
Jones did what Jones does best. He took to Twitter to respond to fans by saying, quote, "I wouldn't be surprised if Curtis won. I've seen scenarios like this time and time again. Dude prematurely drinking his own Kool-Aid ends up with a huge piece of humble pie. I mean, if Sergey can touch Tom that easy, I'm sure Curtis can too. When Curtis decides to go, he's a lot faster than people realize and he hits hard. A few well-timed shots and that strong top game, it could be a long night for old Tommy boy. Either way, I'll be watching, excited to have some additional footage." This person responded, "You want to face Curtis for your own sake." Jon said, "Sure, if I'm being completely honest, I always root for the Americans, especially American wrestlers. At the end of the day, no matter who wins, Curtis is no walk in the park either. The only lane I've ever known is the fast one. I know no other speed. Can't remember the last time I wasn't at the big boy table." UFC light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira has doubled down on his offer to grapple with Anthony Smith for $50,000. Smith, who once came inches away from beating Jon Jones for the 205-pound belt, has been going back and forth with Poatan for a number of months. Both agreed earlier this month to a bet where they would grapple for 5 minutes, with the winner getting $50,000. After seemingly agreeing to the contest, the story died out after just a few days. But now, Pereira is doubling down and calling out Smith again, noting that they might have to make the bet happen in a gym if they are to prove their points. The feud started when Smith claimed that he could beat Pereira on the ground given the Brazilian's relative lack of experience in MMA. After just 12 fights, the ex-kickboxer has become the two-weight UFC world champion and is now being eyed for a third title against Jon Jones at heavyweight. But Smith feels he has not faced stern grappling tests in his run to those belts, and that despite his 19 defeats, 5 of which were by submission, he could get the job done if they fought. This led to a bet in which Pereira would give the American his back and start a 5-minute timer. If Smith were able to submit Pereira within that time, he would receive $50,000. However, if Pereira manages to escape, the challenger must then pay him the eye-watering sum, which he claims he would donate to charity. Speaking on ConnectCast, Pereira said,
"I make a bet with Anthony Smith. I let him take my back, put the hooks in, and give him 5 minutes to finish me. We can bet. Like he said I'd win a $50K bonus. He said it was a sure thing. So if he sees me saying this here, I want him to accept. He takes my back, sees that my arm was trapped. No, he has to finish.
Incomplete, your 50K penalty.
He pays the 50 bills. Then I allow him to take my back, put the hooks, right? Both of us sitting there, right?
Game on.
So here we go. All right. I'll have 5 minutes to get up and stand, you know? If I get up in 1 minute or 4 minutes, no matter. I stood up, he lost, he pays 50K, got it? If he finishes me, okay?"
For his part, Smith almost immediately accepted the terms for the bet and told Pereira to set it up.
What do you say? Like Alex Pereira said he would put up 50K.
Yeah, it's like the rules.
But I could start on his back?
Yeah.
I could start on his back, hooks in.
And have 5 minutes.
I got 5 minutes to finish him and he wants to put 50K up for it.
Yeah.
I'll take his 50K.
Yeah.
I'll take his money.
Yeah. How do you finish him?
If I start on his back, I'll choke the shit out of him. 100%.
After defeating Victor Petrino by first-round guillotine at UFC 301, the American was high on his ability on the ground, noting that he would happily take the bet. But in a new Instagram story, Pereira has reminded Smith of their agreement and laid out the logistics for how they would compete. He noted that he needs a month to recover from 2 broken toes, but afterwards, he'll be ready for the challenge. He said, quote, "Someone tell this guy that the bet is real. I'm not talking about fighting at an event because I don't need to promote myself. I'm talking about booking it in a gym and the bet would be there because if you want to wait to fight me at an event, it probably will be difficult to happen. I was out of action for a month because I broke both of my toes, so I only need a month for me to recover some of my cardio." Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler's upcoming fight is one of the most anticipated in the history of mixed martial arts. But after 3 years out of action, many are starting to fear that the legendary Irishman may be past his best as he heads into his comeback fight. Chandler has also been inactive, but he's stayed in the gym consistently and he appears to be training more intensely for this fight. Many fans and experts are divided on who's going to win, with bookies unable to split the pair as we approach the month-out mark. But there are a huge contingent of doubters in McGregor as he continues to enjoy life during training camp. UFC legend Chael Sonnen is backing Michael Chandler in the Conor McGregor fight. Speaking ahead of last night's Bellator Paris event, the UFC legend Chael Sonnen explained in an exclusive chat why he feels the American is more likely the winner against McGregor.
Michael Chandler with you. You have the most disciplined guy in the sport, arguably. You have the most undisciplined guy in the sport, for sure. And it's one of those situations where when you do this conversation, everybody's going to be lazy, like I'm going to be right now, and say, Conor's got a puncher's chance, and if Chandler stands up with him, so on and so forth. I don't know where you got that idea of puncher's chance. I know that's something fun that people say, but I mean, you got to go back to Michael Moore dropping the belt to George Foreman. There's no such thing as a puncher's chance. The better guy wins. He wins every single time, and Michael Chandler could go out there and box with Conor at this point.
Sean Strickland and Belal Muhammad have been trading barbs online since 2021, despite fighting in different weight classes. Strickland even confronted Muhammad in person at Extreme Couture, mocking him online for cowardice. However, a content creator's prank on Muhammad has led to a new feud.
I'm gonna prank Belal Muhammad on his live.
Sagan Dawes fight card. What is that? Sagan D? I don't even know what that is. Yeah. What is that? Sagan D?
Sagan D's nuts, Belal.
Muhammad responded by lashing out on Strickland. If Sean tells you he's going to fight you to the death, it means he's going to jab you and play defense for 25 minutes. If Sean sees you're a harmless kid or a homeless man on his ring camera, he's going to walk outside with a gun and record it to make it seem like he's crazy. Muhammad is next in line for a shot at welterweight gold, while Strickland is looking to bounce back from a close loss to Dricus du Plessis by taking out Paulo Costa at UFC 302. The two fighters are unlikely to settle their beef in the cage as they both are looking to secure their next fight. Michael Venom Page agrees to Ian Garry fight at UFC 303. Newly signed Michael Venom Page has answered the call and verbally agreed to face Garry, noting that he would be able to make the welterweight limit within days if the fight were made, and it could be the Irishman's saving grace after losing out on a grudge fight with Colby Covington. Speaking on the Sky Sports MMA Club podcast, the Brit explained that he had contact with the UFC about the bout and accepted it instantly, saying, quote, "There was like a, send your weight, Michael, what do you think of Ian Garry? And I had asked for him directly after the fight," he said. "I thought that would be a great match and I knew the UK card was coming up, but they said Colby had already taken that fight, so it was not really a thing, but they looked for somebody else at the same time. So in my head, I was like, yeah, I already knew I was going to be fighting in Manchester, but I was just waiting for an opponent. Colby's got some kind of issue that I haven't looked into, but he can't take the fight, and they asked if I would, and I was like, yeah, let's put it on the UK card, it just makes sense." Page is already a big name as a kickboxer with multiple vicious highlight reel knockouts during his career in Bellator, and he believes that his ability to draw eyeballs means that he doesn't have to cling to being on Conor McGregor's card. Instead, he would rather fight at UFC 304 in Manchester this July, but he feels Garry may believe he needs that McGregor shine, adding, quote, "I don't mind, but it just makes more sense for the UK. He's Irish, I'm English, it's a big card, and that would be a great fight." I think he just likes to hang on the back of people's coattails, so he sees Conor McGregor and gets excited. I don't care about stuff like that because, yeah, Conor being on a Conor show, there's eyes, but when I fight, there's eyes. I like to create my own light. I don't like to jump on the back of somebody else. It doesn't bother me outside of that, but it would be cool on the UK card, and that's a great fight for the UK. Now he's just changing it, but I've accepted it. I've accepted the fight, and we're just waiting. He says he's accepted it, but the guy likes to talk. Now let's check out the top 3 comments from yesterday's video. Major Luke Video says, "I wish Jones was as active in the cage as he is on Twitter." Tommy Duster commented, "Literally no one wants to see John Jones versus Stipe. The only ones that do are John Jones fanboys. Nate and George both act like they're the #1 guy in the world when they're both journeymen." Brawl Beat says, "Buckley is either becoming my least favorite fighter or my favorite fighter. Can't tell yet." You want to have your comments read on tomorrow's video? Simply comment down below, like this video, we'll highlight the top 3 comments and we'll read them on tomorrow's video. And that does it for today's news, but make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like this video, hit the bell notification so you get notified every time we drop a new video, and in case you missed it, here's yesterday's news.